looking right on the screen here. So we're live
Absolutely.
right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're live right now. So
Okay.
let's get moving on and get our program started. And I know we're ready to go. So let me get the program ready to go and get started. I'm just typing. Hey, hello. Hey, we're
Hey.
back. Hey, we're back. We was off on Sunday for the 4th of July, but we are back on our new podcast, Knowledge is Power podcast. And I have one of my supporting co-hosts with me, and that is my good friend Francis Larkin. Hello, Francis. Hey, babe.
Hey, how are you?
All right,
How's
you've been busy.
Southeast Texas?
Yes, you've been busy, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Always.
yeah, I see that. I can't catch up with you anymore. That's all right, I tell you. Hey, we've got a lot to talk about tonight. We've got our special guest going to be Amanda Haynes. She's a bus operator for the Beaumont transit system, and we're going to find out what is really going on with the Beaumont transit system. I'm
Yeah, that's
understanding
been a
that's been a
hot
hot
button
mess.
issue.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that. I missed some of my Zoom meetings this morning and today, this afternoon, because we're going to have some other an update on what's going on with the vaccinations here, the COVID
Okay.
vaccination here. But we'll have that show. Also, I'm beginning August 6th, 2021. Folks, you got to, hey, I really want to tell you about it, but I'm going to just give you a little sneak peek of it. We're going to, Now this is Power Podcast going to have a new show. Yes.
All right.
Yes, a spinoff of the Knowledge is Power podcast is going to be a spinoff. It's going to be a daily show,
Oh, wow.
and it's going to be in the mornings. Every morning at 7 o'clock, from 7 to 7:40. So that's going to brighten your day up in the morning, so you can get some updates, some news, some laughter, and some prayer and motivation every morning daily, starting August 16th, God's will. So
All
that's
right.
coming. Yeah, that's coming up. So
All
now,
right.
yeah, but we working it. We working it. We're working it. We working it. We are working it. So that's a big deal we're working on right now. It's on a drawing board. I am just waiting to get a few things behind me before we get going with that. But so we're going to be ready. So my people, thank you for having me us and joining us and listening to us and watching us tonight. And we got to ask you to, if you would, post and share our podcast. Yes, please do. We're going to be. We're your information center here, right here in Southeast Texas, and we want you to share our podcast with everyone you know. At least each one is listening to five. Each one of you share to five or more people. Okay, so we'll be right back in 30 seconds. Welcome to Knowledge is Power Podcast Live with your host, Tony Redborough, and my co-hosts, LaDonna Sherwood and Francis Larkins.
Knowledge is Power Podcast Live starts now.
Okay, now we back. Oh, we got a reverb here. Hey, it's great to have you back. Everyone back with us at Knowledge is Power Podcast Live, and with my co-host Francis Larkins, and she's going to get a computer fix soon, folks, so you can see the real Francis Larkin. How you like? Yeah,
Absolutely.
how you like our new logo?
I'm
Yes,
actually
yeah,
loving it.
yeah, our new logo. Great, yes.
Yes,
That looks
absolutely.
good. That looks good. Okay, so we'll be with our guest Amanda Haynes right after this
Knowledge is Power Podcast Live is a platform to share important information by educating Southeast Texas African American communities with valuable information about health, education, finances, politics, and business. We thrive here at Knowledge is Power to keep our hands on the pulse of the community. We give it to you real and we give it to you raw. So welcome, Ms.Amanda Haynes.
Hey,
Thank
welcome,
you.
Amanda.
Thank you so
Welcome. We love to have glad to have you, and we would like to also thank all the workers who have stretched out and themselves and put themselves on the front line for all of us.
Yes.
I understand you guys worked during the pandemic when it really was the
Yes,
heat
sir.
was on us, yeah, and
Yes, sir.
so you guys are really are some heroes to us because you are frontline workers. And you never took a day off. You never had a laid off. You kept things going. So I
Yeah.
welcome you, Amanda Haynes. She's a bus operator for the Beaumont Transit Center, and actually, we want to know what's really going on, and we want to know what's really going on with the Beaumont Transit Center. So, can you tell us a little bit about it, Amanda?
Um, Starting off, just maybe about a maybe just a little under a year ago, um, the previous management was told that their contract was not going to be extended. They were going to bring someone else in, and
Mm-hmm.
we had two companies to put in a bid, and First Transit was awarded the contract.
Right.
Um, we did our best to ward that off, and what I mean by that is First Transit is a British Columbia company. Their home base is in British Columbia, so they have First Student. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that's school bus transit, and they also had Greyhound. Um, at the time of them being awarded this contract, Greyhound was sold by that company, by that parent company, and the rest of um, the North America companies that they service here, they were in the, being sold as well. So we tried to let inform the city of those things to know if they awarded First Transit the contract. Uh, we
So,
we
okay.
immediately after they were awarded the contract, we went into negotiations. Not maybe less than a month after that.
Okay. So clear me up on this. So the transit system here in Beaumont is not, help me understand, is it from a third party system now and it still says Beaumont Transit and we
Yeah,
will be looking for a different appearance for our buses? Is all of that going on behind the scenes that we're not aware of? Help me clear that understanding.
well, and that's the misunderstanding a lot of people have. A lot of citizens, believe that the transit is operated by or under
The
the
city.
Beaumont. They're
Yeah.
not.
And it's
Oh
not.
wow.
Yeah, what they do is they contract out um, the service for operation, to manage operations.
Oh wow.
But the
Um,
city do contribute 60%, right?
they're actually, I want to say, I believe they're responsible for 20%. It's eight
Okay.
20. Most of
80,
their
20.
funding comes from federal, state, and local funding.
Mm-hmm. So,
The city is, the ones that, when the CARES Act money was issued, when the American Relief Fund was issued, all of that goes to the city and they disperse it to um, the management company.
So, let me get something straight. The city, the transit system is under a contract with an outside vendor.
Hmm.
It actually they manage the uh, bus system, and the city puts in 20%, and they're putting in 80%. All right.
Hmm.
So now I'm gonna back up a little bit. I'm gonna back this train up a little bit and bring you back to. I want to go back to March, and then we're gonna go forward because I want to see the timeline here. I want to know what happened, why is this a big dispute, and why is there an issue going on going forward. So I'm gonna back up to March. You guys was able to operate. Um, in March of 2020 during when the pandemic started, right? Then
Correct.
we had the lockdown where everybody was locked down, but the bus system was still operating, correct? Okay. I understand that was an issue because you didn't have the right equipment, safety
We,
supply to protect the bus drivers on the bus that's
correct.
operating the bus, right?
Correct.
But it was under another third party contract at that time, correct?
Correct.
Now, after that, how soon after that the new third party bid it and got the contract?
They were awarded the contract. They came in October 1st.
October 1st. Okay. So, but y'all was still under the same contract with the city, correct?
Correct. Well, we don't have a contract with the city. The management company has a
The
contract with.
contract with the city, right?
Yeah,
Y'all just the
contract with
employees,
the
right?
management.
Right.
Right.
So now that you don't have a strike going on, so is it a strike or y'all working or what are you doing now?
We are working now, doing everything that we possibly can to avoid striking. Um, doing different little campaigns to make the public aware of what's going on. Um, just just little things that we can do to try to get it resolved.
So
So,
what?
Wants to
oh,
Go
go
ahead.
strike.
ahead, Tony.
Go ahead. No, no, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, again, you may have just mentioned this or went around it a little bit, but how long have you guys been on strike or have been in basically this position? Has it been as long as the contract negotiations has lasted, or
No, we are currently not striking right now. We're
okay,
not.
okay,
What happened was that in October, our contract ended October 31st. So we go to the table, go to negotiations prior to that to try to iron out everything out and have a new contract November 1st. Well, that did not happen. Um, we went until we were going back and forth, and then about maybe March, I believe, is when we went to mediation. We both parties agreed to have a mediator sit in and listen to both sides. Um, no luck with that. So our current contract, the contract that we have now, has expired, but we agreed to um, month to month extend it. Um, Either party can, give the other party 7 days notice to let them know whether they want to, extend it for the next day or not.
so if there is no final contract negotiated, what happens to the bus system here in Beaumont?
Um, Eventually, you, what I see happening is we go on strike.
So what is the hold up that's in a negotiation, or what are you not getting? Okay, let's I'm gonna go through some points, okay? We're gonna start with one, safety.
Okay.
All right. And then we're going to talk about two, security.
Okay.
Three, wages. And number four, the need of this service to the public. And we're gonna kick. I got five and six. And we're gonna kick that later on. But let's start
Okay.
with safety. What are you guys asking for when you're talking about safety? What do you want out of the
Well,
negotiation here?
we need we need safer, dependable vehicles. Our buses are not safe to operate. Um, Meaning, we have braking system, issues. We have quite a bit of safety issues that you know is going on with the buses. Now we do. They did in March. The city did approve the purchase of um, 8 new buses and 8 new special transit vans.
Right.
So how many routes is that? How will that
We
cover?
Yes, that would significantly help a lot. Yes,
Okay.
but
And
the
how
vans
often are they inspected? Do they have to meet inspections every 6 months? Or are the inspections being overlooked?
um initially with the previous company we didn't have a safety person, so I guess they would do inspections on a yearly basis, like we would do our regular vehicles. um how some of them passed, I don't know, but they did. We're talking about shattered windshields, and I know you may have seen that because we did give some of those photos to the news station.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
we
Well,
had Go ahead.
I was gonna ask, how old are the buses you all driving?
Our buses, the oldest is they came out 2008.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2008. We have 2010, and there was 3 buses in 2016, and then we had 3 vans in 2019.
So, question: I know that a lot of the funds that comes into the city of Beaumont for the transit system, it comes in through through the government. Okay, I know
Right.
that for a fact.
Mm-hmm.
And um, how long? I mean, how many people, and have anyone even asked or did a survey on how many people are really driving or who are really riding the buses?
I know Councilman Getz, threw it out there. Initially, he was, suggesting that we go to Uber and Lyft, and
Mm-hmm.
passengers with vouchers because he didn't think that there was enough individuals utilizing the service.
Mm-hmm.
But what he does not know is apparently he doesn't know is that we have a special transit service that we also offer, and that's door to door service
Right.
Absolutely.
disabled individuals, right?
Uh-huh.
And so when he videoed the bus passing in front of his home with no passengers on it, um, that wasn't accurate.
No, no, that's not an accurate count.
It's
Uh,
not.
it's not.
Um, I don't know that that's been brought up, and now he's wanting to get a head count or survey the ridership, which is okay, but make sure you do it on a whole, not just
What?
fix.
Right. Right.
And do you
Yeah.
think that that may be an issue for the current negotiations
As far as
as far as the push that type of push that we've been getting from the city?
no,
Do you
I
think that okay?
shouldn't. It should not. I don't see
Okay.
why it would be. It if that's the case, they would be trying to shut it down instead of
Okay.
just
Instead of pushing for it.
right.
So there's another key point here that kind of focuses on the security of the bus. Can you enlighten us a bit about how the security of it?
Well, one of the things that we put on the table, we asked for, security patrol at
Yeah.
the transfer station where all the buses, go to, where passengers can switch buses if
Hmm.
to. There's a lot of drug activity, prostitution, homelessness there, and it's unsafe. It's not
Okay.
just for us, it's unsafe for the passengers. We have passengers that have stated that they'll get off, at a stop, where maybe the two buses would cross paths. That way, they don't have to go to the transfer station and interact with, people, asking them for money, asking them for a cigarette or anything like that. So, just here recently, we've had two bus operators assaulted. Um,
Wow.
on the bus, and there, my thing is that if we would have, maybe police patrol, I suggested to current management that maybe we can just get them to pass by, you know when
Hmm.
when they're leaving the station, pass by and going to Calder Street. They go up
Hmm.
the street every day, all day, and it just a little diversion, you pass by there and just show that, hey, we're here, and it may ward off some of the activity that's going on
Right.
there.
So tell me, how that affecting? I could be wrong, but how is the that kind of type of action is affecting the bus drivers? Are they stopping, and these type of people are getting on the bus, or they're on the route or at the bus stop?
And can you stop them from entering the bus?
Right.
Well, okay, so starting the beginning of pandemic, we went to free um, riders. You can get on free,
Hmm.
ride wherever you wanted to go. You can ride, get off one spot and get on another bus free. So we had a lot of traffic during that time, and it's we have no recourse. We can't just say, okay, well, he looked like trouble. We're not going to let him ride. You know, because they may have a disability that we know nothing about. So then at
Right.
that point, then that creates a whole nother issue.
Right.
Hmm.
So no, we cannot keep anyone from riding. What we can do, if we have an issue with them, we're told that we can just call the police and let them deal with it. uh,
Hmm.
Sometimes it takes a minute for them to get there, and by the time they get there, they're gone. So it's just there's nothing in place when
Well,
the
I don't see why a special patrol couldn't be set up, especially with the area downtown by the federal courthouse in the
courthouse.
area.
Yes.
Yeah, at least, because I do see police officers when we just go out to enjoy the Great Lawn. I do see a lot of police officers ride through there now, but I don't know how effective them riding through there for that area is. So
Hmm.
I would
Well, I
think a
can
special
see
patrol or something would be beneficial.
I think it would be beneficial because I mean, you can see, when one patrol vehicle go through there, you see them scatter.
Okay.
You see them,
And to be honest, girl, I be wanting to just experience the bus, but I'm scared to get on there.
and that's one of the issues. That is one of the issues. Some people may be scared, may
I
leave
just want to
or
ride and
just
see.
won't go
Yeah,
because they
because the
hear
gas
the
is
story.
high. Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
I was sitting on my bus one afternoon, and I happened to have my phone in my hand, and I saw a gentleman open one of the bathroom doors, and there was a woman and a man in that bathroom, and it's only one stall. It's only one, and they were just doing things that you.
What you say, Tony?
Wait a minute. Well, listen. It's
I'm trying to
been
wrap my mind around it.
it's been years since
It's
I've
exactly what you think it is.
it's been years since I've ridden in the city bus. I remember the times I had to. During my time, we rode the city bus. It was the thing. You couldn't go nowhere unless you rode the city bus,
I
and
did
Oh,
when I was coming up. I
right,
did.
and we had the bus driver and operator, and we knew each other so much because we rode the bus. We got on the
right.
bus, got our transfer on the bus. Where the center bed. I didn't know the bus had a restroom in it now.
I didn't either.
With our transfer station, the transfer
Okay,
station
that's what I was
Oh,
thinking.
okay.
that has the restrooms.
Oh, I
Yes,
better
we
say
have 3 public
shit.
restrooms, and then we have a restroom
Then it
for
upgraded on us, Tony.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
tell me, I'm not to change the topic or anything, but about the wages. How have the wages been affected by this?
Well, for one, we're underpaid. What we did was we took, the closest transit system we have here would be Port Arthur Transit, and then Houston.
Yes.
So, of course, we're not going to compare ourselves to Houston because they have,
A very diving metro system.
correct.
right.
So, we're a lot bigger than Port Arthur. Our service is extended. We start at 6 in the morning, and the last bus go out at 8:30 and come back in about 9:30, right? So at night. So we're underpaid. They're at 21, if I'm not mistaken, 21.17. We're at 19.59 top pay. So
we're talking hourly, right?
we're talking hourly, correct?
Okay.
Just even our mechanics, they start off at, I want to say 17, for a class B CDL. And I mean, some people.
So since we're talking wages, and I'm very high on wages,
Yeah.
very much so. Again, I was once a business owner, and I realized that I had to pay. Well, not had to, but I did. I paid a good wages because I wanted to keep my people
Happy. That's right.
not only happy, but it causes when you have turnovers. So I didn't have very much turnover because I paid for it. I gave them, and they earned it. And
Right.
And this is just something I like to drive home with you, is that it's unfair to underpay. And I'm gonna ask this question: wasn't it one time that the city actually managed the transit system? I'm sorry.
That I know of, no.
So it always had a.
If they did, it was, in the 80s or something like that, way back. If they did, my understanding, it always had what we call a pass through.
Right.
It always had a management company.
I knew that now, but I just assumed back then that it was run through the city.
I've always thought it was ran through the city.
Right.
You're not the only ones.
So do you think that it would be better if the city managed because the buses are coming from, remember, the buses coming from the government now. The city's not really paying for those buses. And that's why you got to have buses. They can't go no Uber and all that. You got to have buses, okay? Because if you're going to run a transit city, and they are the one who's paying,
set the standard,
right? Set the standard for it. Then they cannot minimize it. So since the city is only paying 20%, why wouldn't they take over the operation?
I'm not really sure on that. I've been told different things. One of the things would be liability.
I was
Mm-hmm.
gonna ask, is probably the liability on it.
Yeah, yeah, I
Mhm.
agree with
Yeah,
that. I
Aspect
agree
of
with
it,
that.
right?
yeah,
I agree
that
with
was my
that.
first thought.
And if there's an accident, instead of the insurance company taking care of it, someone just
Mm-hmm.
want
Right,
to
right.
sue the city.
Yeah, I understand
Right.
that.
So it's understandable the way it's set up. But what I don't understand is how they can have a contract with another company and say that they have nothing to do with it.
Wow.
That's if I'm not, I hadn't put my arms around that
So
one yet,
when we're
just to get
sitting at the
clarified that.
negotiations,
But I'm sure the city cannot. Well, let's see here. Let me get my head together here. Let me get my
they
thoughts together.
negotiate
But I
with
was,
police
I
officers.
right.
They
And you
negotiate with the firemen.
Mm-hmm.
okay?
So their thing is that we don't, we
But the
uh,
fireman is run by the city, right?
the firemen and the police are.
Yeah.
Right. They're under the city umbrella. So, but the bus system is not. It's
Right.
contracted out.
Well, it's contracted out, but we are under their umbrella. If you look at the city's website and look at the yearly budget, we're on there.
Yeah. But they do contribute to the transit. So
Hmm.
understandably
Hmm.
so, just not
They
so
own they own
100%.
the building. They own the
Mm-hmm.
building. They own the vehicles.
Mm-hmm. Mm. So let's go back to the wages. What are your wages that you guys are
Let's
asking
go back
for?
to the wages. So what we did is when we started out, we asked for 10%. And the reason we asked for 10% because we did work through a pandemic.
Right.
In the end of June, our first operator tested positive for COVID. Maybe 2 days later, we had three more tested positive. Then within that week, I tested positive. Um, we had eight employees at that time test positive for COVID. One was in the hospital for about 3 months. Um,
Wow.
he, had to go to rehab and everything. So we worked. We were here. We did our jobs, shorthanded and everything. 16-hour days. We worked. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, we just rightfully, we thought we rightfully deserved that when the CARES Act money came available. It was said that if you needed the money, you had to apply for it. Well, they applied for it and they received $6.2 million. And it's only for the use of the transit. It was only for transit.
I think
Then
she froze up on us.
She's there.
Okay.
in,
Yeah,
in
she's with me. Go ahead. So,
um, the last
so,
one is the
so,
American Fund.
wait a minute. Before we go to that, you said
Mhm.
$6.2 million that was allocated to the city of Beaumont for the transit system, right? I'm gonna
Correct.
repeat that again. You said $6.2 million was allocated to the city of Beaumont for the transit service,
Correct.
and you
Yes.
did not receive it. So where did it go?
We have
Mm.
no idea. We did a request for open record, for them to send us that information. We asked specifically, what you intended on doing with it, what have you done with it, and we got a budget. We got the same thing that we can pull up online is what they sent us.
Wow.
So the bus transit system, Beaumont transit system, did not get one penny of the
We
six
had
point two million dollars.
our PPE, the out of that $6.2 million, the first thing that they spent any money on it, I want to say it was $100,000 on radios. The city when they changed from analog to digital,
Digital.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
they left us out. They left us out of the system, out of that. Um, we were able to, over the year, we were able to communicate on our radio system because they had some analog and some digital. But in March, I'm sorry, not March, in late October, maybe November, they went straight digital. We had no radio system. We had no way to communicate with each other.
That's a safety issue.
It was a big safety issue. It was in March when we got radios.
Wow.
And that's where the first purchase that they sent us, that's what they bought out of the $6.2 million.
And so nothing else since that.
Nothing else that they have shared with us since that.
Okay.
Luckily, the union, we have individuals in the international that would check and see with Department of Transportation. They'll send us information saying, hey, they requested approval for this amount for this, and we'll get it that way. But other than them, they won't send us any information.
Wow.
In March, they received, for the American Relief Fund, they received $670,000 on behalf of the transit system.
On top of the $6 million?
Yes. Don't forget, last year they received $2.2 million from the federal government, right? And this year they received $2 million. Every year they receive, about $2 million.
Wow.
And I'm going right back to this again. And the
Yeah.
transit system has not received any funds from the amount that they have received, the $6.2 million and the $2 million.
That I know of, no. The buses that they purchased, those buses, they're not supposed to use the CARES Act money or the American Relief Fund money. They're not supposed to use that for the purchase of vehicles.
Okay.
And yet that's what they're using.
No, that's coming out of another pocket, right?
Right.
Okay.
From they have federal grants.
Right.
Grants and things of that nature for
Right.
that.
For the buses.
Correct.
The buses come from the federal agency for the buses.
Yeah, they have something different for that. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm into the money deal.
Me too.
I just try to figure out where did the money go. I mean, where is the money? Where did it go, and why anyone is looking out and trying to find out where's the money? Because if it's supposed to have gone to it was supposed to be going to the transit. Why didn't it go to the transit? Where is it? Have anybody not make the city accountable about the $6 million that's not count for?
What I was told from my international is that anything that when they take any money out of from that funding, that we would know, because they have to send a request from the Department of Transportation in order to spend that money. So when they do that, we already have it where the Department of Transportation will notify us when they requesting to spend it somewhere. That's all we have, because
so there's millions of dollars sitting somewhere and not being utilized.
Correct. Now they're saying right now that we've asked for $1 million. We didn't ask for $1 million. Wow. We actually, during negotiations, and that, we lowballed ourselves. We asked for 10% wage increase, and they said no, and we went down to 5%.
So that's still negotiation going on.
No, that was at that time. Right now,
Okay.
the last day we were negotiating was on May 5th. We were in mediation, and that was the last day that we had. And they everything else, the majority of the things, we finalized, came, on, made an agreement on, but they would not talk about hazard pay or wage increase.
Right.
What do
So,
you think that is?
Well, because you're gonna have cost of living,
Yeah.
uh, you're gonna have to
The
you have
city,
to
does
that's
the
the,
city, I don't know if they do that, Tony.
they're
Cost
gonna
of living.
adjust for cost of living.
I don't know if the city entity does.
well,
Yeah.
they should.
They
They should.
Yeah.
should. Yeah, they should.
I agree
That should be
100%.
in your
Well,
contract. That
let's
should be in your
let's let's
contract.
do let's touch on this. Just what last Tuesday at City Council,
Mm-hmm.
one of the officials requested to pay civilian city employees, give them a wage increase. Were you aware of that?
You're saying the council,
Yeah,
one of the council asked for a civilian
wage increase.
wage increase.
Okay.
Okay, that was last Tuesday,
That was
not
last
today.
Tuesday.
Not
Right.
today.
Yeah, it was last Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
It was brought up that they, wanted to give them an increase in pay, and I don't know what took place on that. What the discussion was. I didn't see it on the agenda, so I didn't think anything of it. But that's what I was told. Um, and one of the councilmen asked, what about the transit employees? And he was advised that you know our attorney suggests that we don't get involved in that.
The city attorney.
Yeah, I don't know which attorney, but
Okay.
It's got to be the
I'm
city
assuming.
attorney.
Yeah, the city attorney. Okay.
So we covered some items here. Hold on, let's go back. We covered the safety. Y'all want safety. You need more safety. Bus drivers to have safety. We talked about security, did we?
Yeah.
Okay, and we now just finished talking. Now we're still
Wait.
talking about wages.
Right.
This is
And that's your hot topic, Tony.
right, yeah,
You.
and so where's the breakdown? Are we got to get wages increase? Or you ask for a
As of today, no, they don't want to give us anything.
in all contracts negotiation when you on terms is that the wages got to be a part of it.
Of course,
Right.
it's a part of
Okay.
it. Yeah.
So who your union leader is, and he needs to get more aggressive because wages does come with negotiating a new contract. I can't see
Absolutely.
making the same thing for the next 4 years.
No.
Well, and that's one of the things, we also asked for a 3-year contract.
Mhm.
They refuse to give us, a multiple year contracts. It's always 1 year, always 1 year.
Hmm. And right now it's month to month still.
Right now it's month to month. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
All right. So we talked about the wages. We do need the service. We do need the bus service in Beaumont.
Absolutely.
We have the population for the bus. I don't care how many buses pass by there and 2 or 3 people in front of Mike Gett's house. We need the transit
Someone-
system.
exactly. We
There
need
are
the-
a lot of people on the other side of town, in certain part of town, need the bus transit system.
Yes, sir.
They don't have cars, and
Right.
And I actually have a few passengers that ride with me that have vehicles, but they are legally blind,
Mm-hmm.
or they go to dialysis and just
right,
be able to transport themselves.
right.
Right.
It's a
Well,
it's a needed service.
It is a needed service. I agree.
absolutely. And I can't express how much I feel that it's needed. And actually, at one point, I wish they would extend the hours of when the services are offered. So if you said the last bus runs at 8 or 8:30.
8:30 the last bus go out.
Okay,
Yes.
well, I think it should be at least 11. Because that gives people time to get off and get home.
And get home.
I just
Right.
yeah, and I lived in a neighborhood right off of 90, and every day Beaumont Transit picked up it seemed to be a very sick individual, and it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I assumed they had regular scheduled doctor visits. And I also assumed that it's a lot cheaper to be able to utilize the city's assets rather than call a Acadian or to call a private service. So
Right.
I definitely think that it's needed.
It's $2.50 one way.
Mm-hmm.
So if you need, to come back, that's $5.
Right.
A round trip, $5.
Much cheaper than gas.
It's much cheaper.
Yes.
It's much cheaper. It's more you have a lot more room.
Right.
You can stay in your wheelchair if you're in a chair, it's convenient.
Y'all gonna have a new passenger if y'all beef up number 2. That's security. Because I'll be on. Me and Tony.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's been 40 years since I rode the city bus, but
I've never ridden.
I have.
Really?
I've never ridden.
But
I
that was
used to
the
live on
main.
one side of town and rode the bus to BCP, and then
I rode the bus when it was yellow. We walked in there, and
Tony always reveal his age, don't he?
We walk in there and put $5 in a little, not $5, 5 cents.
5 cents.
And a little slot there, and we get a transfer. It was 10 cents. When I get a 10 cents, I get a transfer when I get downtown, and get out the front and go around to the back, get in the back of the bus. That's where we had to stay, the back of the bus. See,
oh wow!
I grew up in a generation where I was right between segregation and desegregation. So I was able to witness some of that as a little boy growing up. So I saw both sides of it. But that was our main transportation. That's how we had to get on the bus to go downtown, pay Mama Bill down there at Montgomery Wards and Sears.
Yes.
So White House, and we walked those places when you got off the bus. We walked, and then we go over there, and then we go to the Walgreens, and catch down, get on that bus, and get on back to that South End. Get that refinery bus. We back home, dude. But it's so good to have you, Amanda, to just come on and explain to us a little bit about what is going on with the city transit system here in Beaumont. It is very important that we do have a transit city for those who are unable, those disabled, and those who are unable to be able to have a transportation to go to and from. And you never know. You really never know, and you'd be surprised how many people that really, really need that service.
Just one more point. My vehicle, I just had to put my vehicle in the shop on last Thursday. I just got it back today. Someone could be in that situation where they need transit, to get around while their vehicle is in the shop. Because right now, rental service, when car rentals is expensive.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And they're scarce. They don't have it.
Right.
So I think it's not $5 a trip. I tell you that, Round.
And it's not going to get any better because of the computer chip that is a shortage.
Oh, so, it's still a short?
Yeah, it's going to be a shortage for a good while this year. So for the rest of the year. So if you notice, people, that if you go by dealerships, pass by dealerships, and notice, where's the cars? They don't have no cars. They're not going out of business.
Right.
It's just that there's a shortage of that computer chip, that they cannot make a car without that chip. That it's a trickle down effect. It trickle on down, and now now they're making cars now that might have some computer chip to be in, so they can transport them to the dealership, but you're only going to get one remote, and they're going to mail the extra remote to you when the supply of chips comes in. So it's
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's 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 something. So not just saying we don't have cars. Everybody has cars now. When I grew up, you barely had one car. If
Right.
you had one car, now we got two, three, four cars. But we
Well,
still have those that still need transportation that depends on the
before
bus services.
before we finish, can I just go over one thing? I did mention that the city as well as First Transit are stating that we've asked for $1 million, $1.5 million.
Right.
Um, we did a breakdown of those, and the most it would come out to be is $50,000.
Oh,
That's
wow.
that's with the wage increase at 5% over 3 years and hazard pay.
And that
Right.
comes up to what?
50.
Well, the hazard pay would come up to $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
The wage increase over 3 years at 5%, $254,000.
No, you ain't
Mm-hmm.
even asking for half a meal.
No, I don't see nothing wrong with that.
But they're saying, and that's what that's what frustrates me, is that the public will believe just in anything without just
Researching it for themselves.
research. It's in black and white. You can do it yourself. um, we're not asking for anything that we don't deserve, that we didn't work hard for. Till this
Absolutely.
day, we're short on drivers. We're short in the shop as well, the mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone is working over. And when I say
Safety
16-hour day, because there's a shortage, and then
Right.
there's no incentive to come to Beaumont Transit. And people see how they're treating us now. Who wants to come in to that?
Yeah. So in other
Right.
words, you're walking into a dead end situation.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
They're treating you all like you don't belong. You're
We
not
we
part of.
we
Yeah, you're
say
not part of.
second
Right.
class citizens. That's what we
Yeah.
call them,
Right.
second
Right.
class citizens, and
About
it's a shame.
Amanda, I hope we have a lot of folks that would listen to this show
Absolutely.
I
and
hope
see
so.
what's going on, and then we pass the word on. We're going to want you to share it, and we also on Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Apple iTunes, and a few others. That's a new one I have now. We're on Twitch. Twitch. We're on that as well. So we've got quite a few social media platforms that we're on. And we want to ask all our friends, if you would, share our podcast to your friends and neighbors and loved ones so we can spread the word of what's going on here in our area, in our southeast. Right now, we're talking about Beaumont, Texas transit system, and with Amanda Haynes. And Amanda, thank you so much for joining us. We
Thank you
appreciate you,
guys for
and
having
we ask you guys to join us on Sunday. Our Sunday will be I can't remember who's my guest Sunday. Oh yes, Mr. Reverend, the righteous Reverend J.D. Roberts would be our guest on Sunday with the
Okay.
Save the Children,
Yes,
and he'll be with us on Sunday. So, with that said, Amanda, give us a last shot of what if give us something that you want to say. If you missed it, come on with it, Suri.
guys, get out there and get, be voiceful. Just let them know. Let the city officials know that this service is well needed. Um, one day you might need the service. Get out there and let them know to fix this. It's sad. Just get out there and fix it.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who are listening and is not watching, Faith Anitra says that the special transit is very needed. She says, I am a social worker and I refer to the Beaumont transit system for our elderly and disabled clients. Without that, an elderly or disabled client would have to pay $15 each way under the senior nutrition services. The rural community has cheaper transit, but that's doesn't apply to the city residents. So that is true.
That is
And
Mhm.
she
great.
also asking,
Thank
and she's
you.
always asking, what can she do? So
Oh, well.
yeah, so that's very important that
Um,
we
Faith, what you can do is continue to refer them to Beaumont Transit. Again, we have the special transit system. It goes door to door, and initially when this new management company came in, I did speak with him and suggested that we extend our routes,
Uh-huh.
revamp our routes, and we currently just in this the city limit. Anywhere in Beaumont, the city limits, we go. We go.
Okay, I'm going to the YouTube says Craig Horner is saying that hello, I'm here. He's new to Beaumont, and he says the excuse me, excuse me, the water problem is too heartbreaking. So we know about that, Craig. We know all about that,
Yes.
and yes, we do. And Terry Roy is saying that he's here. We don't understand that there's money going unaccounted for in the city. We know that now.
Yes, Mr. Roy, we do know that.
So,
Mhm.
and also the citizen needs to find out where the money went. They need to contact each individual councilman and find out. Now that's what I'm talking about, making them accountable.
Mm,
So we thank everyone watching us here on Knowledge is Power Podcast Live.
you guys.
We thank you too, my sweetheart. We thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
And whatever we can do to help you, we are right here to sandblast it.
I'll
let
be
let
back.
them all know about it. But okay, let them all know about it. So right here at Knowledge is Power Podcast.
Good night.
Thank you for watching Knowledge is Power Podcast Live. Be sure to like and subscribe to all Knowledge is Power social media pages.